Stop checking your phone. She not busy. She not bad at texting. She is intentionally starving you of the one thing you're currently begging for, her presence. Right now, you're making the mistake that kills attraction. You're chasing the ghost of the girl she was 2 weeks ago. You see her pulling away, and your instinct is to lean in. You send the extra text. You ask, is everything okay? You try to solve a problem she hasn't even named yet. Every time you do that, you lose. Here's the truth women will never admit. When a woman is truly invested, she gets terrified. She sees a future with you, and that vulnerability makes her recoil. She's testing the structural integrity of your frame. If you chase, you break. If you panic, you prove you aren't the man she thought you were. There is a psychological gap between her silence and her feelings. If you don't know how to read it, you'll walk straight into a breakup you could have avoided. Before we unlock the first sign, hit the like button and subscribe. It's the only way we keep this channel independent and reaching men who are losing sleep over things they shouldn't be. Join us, because what I'm about to tell you next changes the entire power dynamic. 1. Most men think a woman's coldness means she's losing interest. You see her short replies and assume she's bored. You think you need to be more exciting or available to win her back. This is where you lose the game before it even starts. Common advice tells you to show her more love when she pulls away. That is a death sentence for her attraction. In her brain, she is overwhelmed by how much she actually likes you. It creates a fear of engulfment. She feels her independence slipping away and her emotional safety being tied to your hands. To regain her sense of self, she mirrors your energy, but in reverse. She pulls back to see if you're a solid wall or a house of cards. If you chase, you prove you are a house of cards. She wants to know that her distance doesn't break your world. Stop matching her distance with pursuit. Stop asking what's wrong. Instead, you must maintain your exact baseline of confidence. If she goes quiet for 6 hours, you go quiet for 12. Not out of spite, but out of a complete lack of anxiety. When you finally do speak, do not mention the gap in time. Act as if you didn't even notice she was gone. This signals that your emotional state is dictated by your own life, not her temporary mood. Once you master this emotional steadiness, you'll notice her second defense mechanism, which is much more deceptive than silence. 2. When a woman starts nitpicking your smallest habits, your instinct is to get defensive. You think she's losing respect or looking for a reason to leave. You try to argue your way into her good graces. You explain why you did what you did. You apologize for things that don't require an apology. This is the moment you hand her the scissors to cut the cord. In reality, she is hyper-focusing on your flaws because she is looking for a safety exit. Her brain is screaming that she is too deep into this. She starts poking the bear to see if you'll fold. If you become a people pleaser to stop her complaining, she loses all sexual attraction to you instantly. She doesn't want a man she can manipulate. She wants a man who is unshakable even when she's being difficult. The shift is simple: agree and amplify, or ignore it entirely. If she critiques the way you dress for dinner, grin and tell her you'll wear something even more offensive next time. Never explain, never justify. When you refuse to be bothered by her tests, her fear of losing control turns into a deep, visceral relief that you are the dominant anchor she needs. But if she can't break your frame with words, she will move to the most powerful weapon in her arsenal: the physical freeze. 3. When the intimacy stops, most men panic. You think she's lost the spark. You try to buy it back with dates, flowers, or, worst of all, by asking for it. You make sex a chore or a negotiation. You've just confirmed her greatest fear, that your value is tied to her validation. Common advice says communicate your needs. In the bedroom, communicating needs sounds like begging. Inside her head, she's actually paralyzed by the stakes. If she stays physical, she stays bonded. If she stays bonded, she stays vulnerable. By freezing up, she's trying to see if you'll turn into a frustrated child or stay a composed man. She is waiting to see if your vibe changes because you aren't getting what you want. If you get grumpy, distant, or needy, you failed the test of her safety. You must remove the pressure entirely. Stop initiating for 72 hours, not as a punishment, but as a demonstration that you are fulfilled with or without her physical touch. Focus on your training, your work, and your own physical presence. When you stop hunting for intimacy, her anxiety about being trapped by your expectations vanishes. She will begin to crave the very thing she was withholding, but once she realizes she can't control you with her body, she will pivot to a much more subtle psychological game, the ghost of an ex. 4. She brings up an ex. Maybe she mentions a mistake she made in the past, or she tells a story about how she was hurt by someone who looked or acted like you. Common advice says to reassure her, you start saying, I'm not like him, or I would never do that to you. You think you're building a bridge. In reality, you're auditioning for a role you already own. The female psychology here is a trauma test. She is projecting her past onto your future because she's scared of how much she's starting to care. She wants to see if you'll get jealous, defensive, or, worst of all, if you'll start competing with a memory. If you try to prove you're better than her ex, you've subconsciously told her that he is the standard and you are the applicant. The move is total indifference. When she mentions a past hurt, give her a bored nod. Say, sounds like a lot. Pass the salt. Do not engage in the drama of her history. By refusing to compete with a ghost, you signal that you are the only reality that matters. You aren't better than her past. You are entirely outside of it. You are the new standard. When she realizes her past doesn't trigger you, she will move to the final, most confusing sign of all, the sudden sabotage. 5. Out of nowhere, she picks a fight about something that happened 3 months ago, or she tells you, I don't think I'm ready for a relationship right now. Despite acting like your wife for weeks, this is the kill switch. Most men collapse here. They beg for a second chance. They try to fix her feelings with logic. They act like a defense attorney in a trial they've already lost. In her brain, the intimacy has reached a fever pitch. She feels herself falling, and the only way she knows how to stop the drop is to set the building on fire. It's a self-defense mechanism. If she ends it first, she can't be hurt. If she pushes you away and you stay, she knows you're safe. If she pushes and you crumble, she knows she was right to be afraid. She is literally begging you to be the leader through her own emotional chaos. The action step is the hardest one you will ever take. Agree with her. When she says she isn't ready, say, I understand. I'm only interested in something moving forward, so if you need space, I'll respect that. Then you walk. You don't look back. You don't text checking in. By being willing to lose her, you become the only thing she is terrified of losing. Your high-value detachment is the only mirror that shows her how much she actually wants you. When you master the art of walking away, you realize that her fear wasn't a stop sign. It was an invitation to take the lead. You are no longer the man who wonders why she's pulling away. You are the man who understands the engine of her attraction better than she does. You've seen the secrets and you've held your frame. You have the control now. If this insight gave you the clarity you've been missing, hit the like button and subscribe right now. It ensures this brotherhood grows and more men stop being victims of their own confusion. Go out there. Stay unshakable. Let her fear of losing you be the very thing that brings her back. You've got the lead. Don't drop it.